Welcome to episode number 112 of the BEBC BS Podcast.
Really?
We got ourselves a podcast!
Oh, Lord. We love us some announcers, but some announcers are more too much than others.
This is where we give a shout out to Ian. When we give Ian a hard time about stuff, and Ian's a good sport.
Alan's home announcer, by the way.
Yeah, he tells us to say stuff when we catch him in a situation where it wasn't perfect or whatever, and he's good about taking it. But why do you have to make your announcement or announcing about you?
Wasn't he at the game last night?
Ian was at the game last night.
It'd be nice to get his take on.
Well, we can do that. Ian gladly come
We'll ask a question or two.
But holy moly.
And it's a pretty sad day when we have the bandwidth to complain about the announcers.
Well, we've got to complain about something because every week that's our job. Well, now, we may not complain what people want us to complain about.
No.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Now, speaking of special teams.
We'll get there.
I know.
Eventually. Speaking of special teams, the 1971 Allen Eagles. That's a good segue, man.
Oh, gosh.
Randy Bridges, cover your ears.
Wah, wah, wah.
Randy told me he didn't want to hear no more about the 1971 Allen Eagles.
The 70s were the best era.
Now, we're looking at
not for Allen football,
a game 112 in the history.
It's going to take us another 20 years to get up to this year, and it'll be 20 years later.
There you go. Until we die, man. Until we die. Game 112 in the history of Allen Eagle football, 1971. Would be the sixth game of the year. They either traveled or they played over here. Princeton came to town, or you went to Princeton, one of the two.
Ooh.
Now remember,
that wouldn't be right.
Yeah.
Either we'd go there or they'd come here.
Or we met at a neutral site.
I doubt that. Out on one of those fields out in the country, make your own football field.
People, we beat each other up too, so it's not just whomever. We pick
but what's
everybody.
your point?
My point is they were 0-3-2 coming into the game.
Oh.
They had not won a game.
How terrible is that?
They had not scored more than 12 points in a game.
Perspective,
and they
my
left
friends.
that game, and they still hadn't scored more than 12 points. However, your defense showed up very big in this game.
Yeah.
They went in 0-3-2. They came out 0-3-3 with a 0-0 tie.
Wow. And you're worried about that 1 point loss last night.
I know.
Perspective is such a powerful thing. I mean, come on.
Actually, I accidentally hit the coach too quick. I hope he doesn't get mad at me there. 0-0 tie against Princeton. Can you imagine? What a slobber knocker game that was.
Oh.
Wow.
Maybe it was played in the rain.
Yeah, maybe it's just raining like it is now, and it's just like...
Isn't that crazy?
Gully wash.
So there you go,
The ball
Randy
snapped
Bridges.
and it slips right out of your hands.
Yep. So now we'll jump up to 1981 for the 112th victory in the history of Allen Eagle football. And let's see here. The Eagles...
That'd be us.
They were. If you remember last week, they played Lake Worth, and they won 50-0, and they were 4-0 on the year. The following week, they played Bonham. Okay, that game ended up in a 6-6 tie, so it wasn't a victory.
Wow, another tie.
So 4-0-1 on the year. So you have to go to the next week. Game 216 of the history of Allen Eagle footballs resulted in the 112th win. They went and they played Lake Dallas. God, they traveled so much. Isn't that crazy?
7A's coming, friends.
They went to 5-0-1 on the year, 1-0 in district by beating Lake Dallas 16-6. So there you go. District play started in the 6th game of the year. So you had 5 district games.
I'm trying to think.
Well, here's a trivia question. When did they stop
Oh, that's a
counting?
good
What
question.
year?
Listeners, we have a $10 chicken gift certificate.
The third person to give us the right year.
Now, this is not a call-in, but yeah, you come up to the podcast or come to the tailgate. And,
Let us know. We'll
And
do the
give us the
research
answer.
ourselves.
yeah, we'll know what the right answer is. But yeah, first one that comes
We'll
up
say
and
it
gives
was
us
in
an
the
answer.
90s at some point. But anyhow, they beat Lake Dallas to go 5-0-1 on the year.
All right, let me ask you this: Where did Kevin graduate from high school? North Dallas? North Dallas.
North
High.
Dallas, yeah.
North Dallas High.
Yes.
Okay.
So there you have it.
Because the early, no, he would have been
My
in
dad
college.
went to North
Let's see,
Dallas.
85, 86, he was in that class. So, yeah, he might have been in high school. 79, 80, 81.
Well, it's a gloomy, rainy Saturday morning.
And once again, I mean, the overarching theme is the team gave himself a chance. And ultimately, that's what you want. Refs were a lot better. What else?
Hey, I will take that. I told Cody last night when we got home. I will take that ref crew
That was a good crew.
every week.
They were on top of it.
They seem to have their stuff together.
And you didn't really notice them that much.
You didn't.
That's how good they are.
Yeah.
So
You know, when it was obvious that there were penalties to be called, they
For the
called
most
them.
part, yeah. Yeah.
They got them. And like you said, a spectacle of themselves. There wasn't minute conversations that resulted in nothing. There weren't, blatant mistakes made.
yeah. I mean, you can get picky. Oh, there's holding on every play. Well, yeah.
Yeah. I'm still mad about last week, but this week is...
Take a little of the edge off. Well, Randy did a good job of taking some of our angst and
Randy did a really good
fire out
job.
there.
Kudos, Randy Bridges. For those of you who haven't seen Tuffy Tunes, go look at it
I
on
might have to
Facebook.
give me another poster.
He did a really good job.
That's one of the classics. We're going to have to do a rating of all of all time.
No, we can do that. That's
we
pretty
could
cool.
do that. That'd be
Yeah.
good. All right, Randy.
We need a montage.
We need you to send us somehow all of your posters you've ever done. No, seriously. I mean, we
Or the dog gets it.
Yeah, no, make a Google Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, just throw them all out there.
And even if you just do smaller thumbnails with a little
Yeah.
bit bigger, to be print quality. But
Yeah, we can print it out and we can show them here.
we can actually do a Google form and put it online. Allen
Ooh,
Eagle fans
there you
vote
go,
on
Randy.
their favorite.
We could do that. How
Yeah,
about
we'll put
that?
it together. You provide the graphics and we'll put it together.
We'll put it together and let everybody vote on what their favorite is.
Right now, he's going, I was retired.
Well, he is retired now, and he needs something to do.
He is retired.
So there you go. I mean, that one to me will always be,
Yeah.
the win over Prosper.
You can't color the voting like that right before we open
I
it
said
up.
for me.
There's some really good ones, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh. Yeah.
That one a couple weeks ago was really good. I know y'all got it.
Yeah.
Like I told Randy, I'd love to get it, but I'm running out of wall space here, and
True.
I don't necessarily want to take
Take
stuff
in
back.
that
We're going to have to start moving some of that band crap out of there.
Wow.
Son, you're going to have to take all the stuff. We're
Put it up for auction.
Mom's creating a sewing room in the room.
Auction. Yeah, anybody want to buy some old band yard sign?
Paraphernalia.
Yeah.
We could just paint over the name.
If anybody has a son named Cody who played trombone in the band, I have a son. Or a trumpet player named Caitlin, or a trumpet player named McKenna.
Yeah,
I got it.
speaking of the band, last night was Boo Bowl, an away game, and we had some French maids. Was it trombones?
2 trombones and a
Yeah,
trumpet
see,
player.
the trombones are the troublemakers. You trombone guys, man.
It's always interesting to see the creativity of the kids,
Yeah.
and some of them just make you laugh. We had a
I was looking, I didn't
drum
see.
major who dressed up as a Christmas
Yeah, you know who
Mrs.
that is, right?
Claus. No.
It's Jackie's son.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, kudos to him for
Yeah.
being man enough to wear
Yeah,
that.
Man.
I got a picture of it, too.
Oh, did you?
Yes,
Oh,
I
my
did.
gosh.
'Cause I had to send it to my wife because, her and Jackie are really good
Yeah,
friends.
really good.
Well, I'm surprised we didn't have anybody dress up as just an Allen
There
fan
you
with
go.
a bag
Oh,
over
my
their head.
gosh. For those of you who
I
didn't
saw
see
The
that,
drum major.
Oh, just have him send it to you. Clip it in.
I
Yeah,
can clip it in.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll clip it
Send
in.
me that, David. We'll put it in there.
Anyway, creative band. It's nice that they got here.
Yeah.
For halftime, barely.
Yeah, moving that up to 5 o'clock. People, probably, for those of you that don't know, the buses aren't available because they have to run
All the
bus
kids,
routes,
yeah.
and so the buses aren't available for the kids to get there.
And it
at a
takes
5
so many
o'clock start.
buses,
Yeah,
20 buses.
and so they came when they could, and we went from there. So anyhow, Allen loses another heartbreaker.
Yeah, heartbreaker.
2 weeks in a row now. And you're going to go back and you're going to look at this season, and you're going to look at these 2 games and realize you missed out on the district title by 7 points.
7.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. You 6 points last week, lost to Geyer, and a 1-point loss last night.
Well, look, it's for Prosper, it's a Cinderella story.
Yeah.
And first year coach Tyler Moore, and he had talked about, I guess, in some interviews, the adversity that they faced. If you don't turn that adversity into a positive for you, if you don't learn something from it, then it really is a waste.
Yep.
I mean, it's heartbreaking. You don't want to lose, but okay, we're not going to get district championship. That's a battle next week between Prosper and McKinney.
Yeah, it is, and one of those two teams will win. And that, after McKinney beat Geyer pretty handily last night, you wonder if maybe they figured out
Found
something
themselves.
from the Allen game and realized, hey,
37-20. Yeah,
we need to do something a little different. I see McKinney, if they were able to run the ball last night, which they couldn't do against Allen, and that was their downfall, and I can see them running against that Prosper team. To me, last night was nothing like the last 3 years of Prosper.
No.
We had our way with them running for the most part.
Oh.
I mean, we were just wearing them down. They were switching people in and out so fast, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, you're going to look at the stats, and just like last week, it's one of those things where the stats don't tell the story of the game. And it comes
100%.
down. And we'll talk to Coach about this a little bit. There's 3 phases to the game, and you have to
Okay,
be.
Jason Garrett.
You just got insulted.
It's over.
You just got daddy slapped.
Cody, thank you for coming to your last podcast.
So you respect your elders,
Now, Peyton Manning can talk to him like that, but you can't talk to him like that.
Boom. But there are, and it's the little things. The little things turn into big things. And last night you had
Just enough little things.
that turned into big things that, just like the week before, cost you a game. And there's lots of ways people will look at it, but it comes down to what's happening on that field.
Yeah.
And there were some bad things that happened yesterday, and as a result, the Eagles lose by 1 point.
Had 2 chances to win at the end.
Yeah.
Couldn't put a complete drive together.
Yeah.
Couple mistakes, as far as penalties, and let's be straightforward. It looked like Bricker had something going on with the plant leg. Can't tell for sure, but looking at the film and going through it, we've got film that we have on our own, but you could see it in the results of his passing, and does that struggle to try and get some zip on the ball, does that lead to, mistakes? Because he was throwing behind a lot of the receivers, and if he's able to plant and act quicker, maybe that doesn't happen. So,
Yeah, and there's going to be penalties. I mean, it's just what it is. But the personal fouls,
that's
kill
uncalled
you
for.
every time. It's just like men left on base, 12 last night in the Ranger game.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of that is the time of when that happens too.
Exactly, and it's not the best time.
Yep.
Well, and there were a couple, with people taunting players on our side that we got away with it. They didn't call a penalty on it, and certainly would have been justified. So that's that clean play. Kids are brought up in that era of in your face, boom, chest bump, taunt the other guys, tout your clout when you make a big play. And that's going to come back to bite you. You can call it karma, you can call it justice, whatever, but do your job.
Yeah,
Focus on doing your job.
It's disturbing, the continuation of penalties or just 1 or 2 plays every. We talked about it in the McKinney game. That was the cleanest game they played all year.
Yeah.
And look at the result.
And it showed. Oh, big
you
time.
You beat a team that may be district champion. That may be their only loss in the regular season.
Right. Because when we look through it, let's see, Allen's 4-2 in district, Geyer's 4-2, McKinney's 5-1 in district, and Prosper's undefeated.
Yeah. So it's very evident to me, anyways, that this team can perform. The problem is they haven't been able to on a week to week to week basis.
Well, the personal fouls are just like a attitude issue.
Yeah. And
And, one in particular is just a really young person.
Yeah. You want, again, as fans who are passionate about this team, like I said, last week I was mad, this week I'm sad.
Yeah.
Because I feel for those kids because they're that close. And if you just clean up all these little things that we've mentioned so far, and we'll get into a lot more after we talk. Results could be so much better for you, and they and then you're happy for them, and they're.
And so here's the question with the special teams. As much as they're struggling to perform, how much does that impact coaches' decision making on when to go for it on fourth down as opposed to punt, et cetera?
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit.
And from what I've gathered, just listening to coaches, because they've even said to us at our tailgates, the analytics say, so these guys are really into analytics on.
Well, and that's good.
What you should do at a certain point in time. And
Billy Ball. Let's do the research.
Time. All right, we're going to call Coach.
One ringy dingy.
See what
I
his.
don't want to get into how poor the Prosper police handled that crowd
getting
last
out of
night.
there.
4 hours of getting out of the parking lot.
Hello.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Coach, we're trying to stay dry.
Good luck.
Yeah, well, we dodged a big bullet last night, and where a lot of other teams didn't even get their games in, we just had that brief rain shower to start the game. So, luckily, that happened.
How much does that throw a kink in your works and trying to get the kids scheduled and ready and stuff when they move it up like that?
Oh, I mean, it's not a ton on us. Just everybody scrambling. Speeds things up, makes you feel like things are hectic, but it's not. It's not anything different. Just a lot of people doing a lot of things last second to make it all possible.
Testament to those folks. So
yeah. Administration's awesome.
Well,
Parents that help out with different things also.
it's good to have those people in your corner too when times like this happen. So,
Yeah. No
another heartbreaker, Coach, and it. We pontificate a lot about it afterwards, and up until the time
we call it
pontification. That's my word of the day.
That's a good word.
Thank you. I learned it from somebody a long time ago, but we look back on this game, and you talked about this several weeks ago. You talked about the little things that, if they're done right, it's great. If they're not done right, it's not so good. And it just seemed like at least yesterday, there were a couple small things that just turned into big things that just, kind of just, I don't know, made the game not go where we wanted it to go.
Yeah.
And
I would agree.
a couple of those were on special teams. You had a drop ball, and obviously it was wet when it happened on a punt, and then you had a block punt right before halftime that was just a real killer.
Yeah, huge.
And it just changed the vibe of the game because, and again, you don't know where the game's going to go if those plays are different, but you kind of feel better about your opportunity or your chances to win should those plays have been made clean.
Yeah, no doubt. But you mentioned two of many plays like that, right? So not to single out any play or anyone associated with any of those plays because they were big plays in the game, but again, there were probably 10 to 12 on the defensive side of the ball that you could single out and say the same thing, and then same thing on the offensive side. Just here or there, just plenty of opportunities to get it done, and again, just close. You just close. You get them in. You get them in good situations. Backed up behind the chains, and then they're able to get out of the pocket here or there, or make a play here or there, and keep a drive alive that we feel like they shouldn't. And we, miss a block here or there, miss a read here or there, and then all of a sudden the drive stalls that we feel like has momentum. And then you mentioned the special teams, and just really it's another game. And I say this lightly, because I think the kids really played well. I think they really played. Certainly, no debate. Played hard. No debate. Gave everything they could and left it all out there. But it's just another game that again, I say this very lightly because it was a 1-point game, but I just feel like that they, we didn't win any phase of it. We didn't win any of the 3 phases. In saying that, I felt that it was close. I felt like we did some things really well in really all 3 phases, but just not enough to win a game like that. And it's sad. My heart's broken for the kids. Really, really, really sad for them.
It's funny you say that because that's the exact word that we used maybe 7 or 8 minutes ago, as fans, because we are heartbroken for those kids too. And I think one of the things that we talked about a minute ago that you kind of hit on there too was you may, in your mind, and you said it lightly, you may have not won each phase of the game, but there were times during the game that you were clearly winning. And it seems like it's a matter of, like the McKinney game in our mind was your best game of the year as far as, okay, we got everything together, and that shows what we can do when everything, is clicking and everybody's doing, a really good job. But the consistency to make that happen week to week seems to be missing at times.
Yeah, it's just, and again, it's, you don't point to anything and say, there's certain plays you can say, let me put the ball on the ground here or there, but outside of that, you don't point to a play or point to a player certainly and say, boy, he let us down there. You're not seeing that. You just, what you're seeing when you talk about, consistency is you're talking about, just playing really good teams that, are making plays, and we're just not making them at those times. Mm-hmm. But then, like you just alluded to, is you turn around and say that this team is making plays as well. And again, both games, last 2 games came down to having a shot for both teams. Having a shot right there at the end, and 2 good teams got it done against us, and we didn't get it done, which again it is sad, but. Our guys field last night devastated, heartbroken, and where they are right now is they know that to have any shot to play Prosper again, they've got to rebound immediately, and their mindset is we've got to continue to battle, continue to find a way to improve, continue to find a way to make those plays in the critical situations, continue to find ways to pick each other up with it, which they do a great job of, believe in each other in tough times. They don't get down. Just those things, but keep improving upon that to have a shot to get back to Prosper in the 4th round.
So, and again, there may be not an answer to this question, but, you go down 27-14 at half, and then you put together a third quarter that
fantastic.
It was just great. Was there anything, adjustments made at halftime, or was it just, hey, let's do what we said we were going to do? Because, and again, the stats, this is a very clear example of stats not telling the story of the game, because the stats clearly favored Allen in this game, but the result didn't. But that third quarter was a thing of beauty. So did you have something magical potion at halftime, or did y'all find something at halftime, or because that third quarter was great?
We felt like the first half, those same things were there, right? We felt like that, everything that we came out on both sides of the ball set out to do, were there. I don't know how to say it other than I felt like the plan was good. I felt like, defensively, good plan. You start off and you start a drive, their first drive, on the no yard line. You kind of your back's against the wall. I felt like we could have given more resistance there, of course, but just the drive offensively should have extended. I just felt like we didn't execute the punt that you mentioned. Just didn't execute a wet ball snap, which has to happen. But then throughout the rest of the first half, you just and I don't know how to explain this other than you're there, and it's just a breath away. It's so many different ways, whether it's just they slipped us here, or again maybe just didn't quite do it right, across the board, and just so close. And you didn't walk off the first half saying, "Oh my gosh, we've got to go reinvent the wheel." We walked off saying, "Let's go." Okay, so then certainly you clean up a few things and make a few tweaks, but it really just felt like all we have to do is play ball, just play ball, and again, that's a good football team. But I was really proud of the way they responded in the third quarter and got back in it, and then quite frankly, had a chance to put it away pretty early into the second half, and and they bowed their necks a few times, which you knew they would, and just made they put together a really big drive when they needed it. And we were close numerous times getting off the field that drive. But anyway, it was really the whole game, even the fourth quarter. We're just close, and a couple of ways continuing to keep drives alive, and just didn't get it done.
Well, and the opportunity is there to experience what it's like and see that light on the horizon. And hopefully that plays off, into the playoffs. You've got Little Elm coming up. What, if anything, do you do? Little Elm is way down at 1-7, and overall, and they're struggling. So, are you going to try anything with some other players? I noticed, you kept Brady in for the whole game. Kind of, how do you approach that Little Elm game to try and get better and hone in on some things?
Yeah, we just like we do the Prosper game. Kids will get up here and get in the training room, take care of their bodies, and we'll get them out and lift and run and watch film and find what we have to do to get better. And again, you obviously game plan for what an opponent does, but whether we're playing Little Elm or Florida State, it's our preparation is about us. It's about finding a way to improve what we're doing, and it'll be no different this week than any other week.
I know you got confidence in the kids, Coach, but Florida State, that's a pretty big leap.
That's a non-district game for next year that I'm certainly not going to miss.
That's not one of your picks this week either.
And
we're still looking for a week too. So
well, we'll make a phone call.
If they'd come here both years,
that'd be awesome. Yeah,
that would be.
Hey, I want to just ask, and I don't know how much you can say about this, but next week Prosper and McKinney, I guess they play for the district title.
Yeah.
And I was kind of surprised at McKinney doing what they did to Geyer last night. And
yeah, again, that McKinney is McKinney's the most talented team in the district. Not close.
Yep.
Not close. I mean, I'm talking from a college recruiter standpoint. They are loaded, and I was probably a little shot. I don't even know what the score was at one point. Somebody told me it was like 35-14 or.
Yeah, it ended up 37-20.
37-20.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that score could have happened that I said, but yeah, I mean that. They're good, and it wouldn't. But it's like all four of us really, and I'm proud that this team is in that breadth and that discussion. I really am. But it's not going to surprise you if any of those teams beat anybody. I mean, McKinney, you go back to that, and for us, there wasn't a yard that you look at and say, boy, this was easy. I mean, this wasn't a yard. And we were able to shorten the game. We were able to get some tough conversions on fourth down. Again, we had 8 possessions in the McKinney game, so nobody's going to score very much. We played the run really well that night. Forced them, got behind. They got behind and forced them to throw. And it was, if you don't do that to them, it's going to be tough to stop them. They got, again, incredibly talented run game. When you talk that quarterback run, running back run, and then their defense, it's tough. So, them beating Prosper this next week would not be a surprise to anyone on the planet by any stretch. And but you could say in the same breath, it wouldn't shock anyone if Prosper beat them. It's just going to be two really good football teams that both have a chance to go make a run in the playoffs, as does Guyer. I think Guyer's still in discussion. Guyer can whoever they're going to play in this first round from this other district. There's nobody going to be shocked to see Guyer make a run either.
Right. Well, and your playoff position is set. Who you play is still not set, given that Plano West lost to Louisville last night, or Plano East lost to Louisville, and Hebron won. So those two teams are still tied. And so it's going to go down to the last week to determine who your opponent's going to be. So that'll be interesting to find out as we get through next week. So we'll look forward to talking to you about that after. We play Thursday night this week, right? Yeah.
We play Thursday night. That's correct.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that next Saturday with you. So, Coach, you went 3-0 last week. So,
all right.
Ohio State, Florida State, and Alabama all won last week, and those were your three teams. In picking games this week, there's really only one what I would call marquee game, but there's a lot of interesting games, and so we'll do the marquee game first. You have Oregon traveling to Utah. Utah, put the clamps on USC last week, and Oregon is what Oregon is. So, what's your thoughts?
I'll take Oregon.
Oh, that was quick.
Yeah, I like the quarterback. I haven't seen anything from Utah. I couldn't tell you anything about them, but I've seen Oregon. I like what they do.
We got a team that loves to play with fire in Oklahoma, and they're traveling to Kansas today.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like if I haven't said this, if we haven't had a Kansas game, I really like that Kansas staff and what they're doing there. I really like schematically what they do offensively, but I don't think they beat OU.
All right. And the last one, just because having grown up in Florida, the world's largest cocktail party, which they're not allowed to call it anymore, Georgia and Florida get together this week. And Georgia is without Brock Bowers, so they're tight end.
Yeah, you know what? And I saw that somewhere, and that's I get you saying that if it's a quarterback out, but it's kind of crazy to me how impactful he is. To say he's out and talking like that could be the difference or something. That's kind of cool for the game. But again, I'll take Georgia in that game. I think they probably have two or three more of him waiting.
You're probably right. They probably do. And we'll find out who that is this week. He'll show up.
Yeah.
So exactly. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time as always. Thursday night, 7:00, senior night. That'll be special for everybody, and
it will be. Yeah.
We'll wrap the regular season up and get this thing geared up, ready for a playoff game. Probably against Louisville.
Not at our stadium for our fans.
Yeah. or Coppell.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out next week. But anyhow, we appreciate your time and have a good weekend.
Thank you. You guys do as well.
All right. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Bye-bye. I called him boss. That's kind of funny. All right. What are your thoughts on what he said?
Jason Garrett. He's
You calling me Jason Garrett?
He's got to go into coach speak to a certain amount. Like he said, he's not going to call out individual players.
No,
not in public for sure.
Yeah.
Now, so the players are their own worst critics most of the time.
Right.
Some of them have got problems recognizing their own inabilities. Standard teenager. What are you going to do? And they're going to be working on the things that they did wrong to try and make them better. you got to give yourself a chance, and the kids are giving themselves a chance. The coaches are giving themselves a chance. Now, did I want to press? Yeah, and maybe we'll find out a little bit later. Why so much horizontal, east and west as opposed to north-south? We saw a couple, like a tunnel screen or a little slant.
It was like fake food.
Skinny post, whatever you want to call it, that just didn't work. Bricker's thrown into double and triple coverage, and with a guy underneath, that's super dangerous. He's lucky he didn't get picked off.
Which is what happened last week.
Yeah.
Against Geyer. He did get picked off. This week, outside of the fumbled snap or on the punt,
Yeah.
they had no turnovers.
Well, and again, I say, if he's got some kind of Achilles or calf or knee or whatever issue with the plant leg,
Yeah.
if anybody's tried to push off and throw anything with any velocity, something's going on.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We'll let the smart guys there figure it out. But
again, the stats just don't. We'll go through these for those that are interested. First downs, Allen 22, Prosper 13. Total yards, Allen 446. And I meant to say this to Coach, but I didn't, because he preached all week. And if you listen to his commentary with the old coach on his little 3-minute thing, he talked about their defense and how good they were. You put up 446 yards on that team.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Which, and I mentioned before the game, I had gone back and looked at the last 5 games, and they were giving up an average of 150 yards rushing, which is obviously Allen's strength, and they ended up giving up 177. Probably could have given up 277, and we'll talk about certain situations where we thought.
And when you rack up that much offense, it's either attributable to two things: the defense shutting you down or making mistakes and turning the ball over. You get a long drive, and that's what we ended up with a lot of times during the Kyler Murray years.
Yeah.
Our stats would not look as good as the other team's stats, but yet we killed them.
It didn't matter.
We beat them.
Bricker was 22 of 34, 65% for 269 and 2 touchdowns.
And on the surface, 65% is not the bad completion.
Yeah.
I mean, you want it in the 70s, but
It's 269 yards, and I didn't go back and look last night. That might be his biggest total of the year.
right, because it's 294 total, right? Total yardage
Total yardage was
for Prosper and 446 for us. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a
177
Big
yards
difference.
rushing, averaged over 5 yards a rush. Mekhi Ellis, a kid. I told Cody, I don't know how he does it. He's 17 for $145 last night with 2 touchdowns. I've never seen a runner that when contact happens,
yeah.
how he just slides off people. And you can't, he's not stiff arm. I don't know what he's doing. It's like he's greased or
Well, it's
something.
different than Marcus because they're both very similar in stature, right?
Marcus Ward, for those
Marcus
of you-
Ward, number 20, played back in the glory years and was just a beast against DeSoto, at Ford Stadium and SMU. But exactly, he was plowing into people, but then slipping off, whether it's a roll or just a bounce out.
Yep.
He was good, and I think you mentioned it, at controlling people, coming up to tackle him. He'd keep them off just enough to then get the feet clear and get past him. It's
amazing.
It's a beautiful thing to watch. And the other one, Donnell G, as far as receptions go, he and Bricker had the connection going on there for a while, which was a nice thing to see.
They found something last night. I think Messiah went out hurt because he didn't play the whole second half and most of the second quarter after his touchdown. Donnell had 5 for 100. Messiah had 4 for 80. Caleb Smith, they really got him involved last night. He had 7.
Oh, and there were some acrobatic catches out there.
7 for 49. So you look at that and you go,
yeah,
all right,
and
the numbers again.
Was
the
it Gavin Akins that caught that long one that was kind of a throw-up prayer, and he came down with it? I think so, but we'll throw it in there if it's.
You've got the highlights, my
reels.
friend.
Yes, we do.
He only had 1. It was Reed Nicholson, 1 for 17.
And then right in the middle of the game, a rugby match broke out.
Wasn't that fun?
Talk about move the pile. What do you call that? The tush push? No, that was the
good.
That was the rugby push.
The caboose is loose on that, man. That was awesome.
I'm just glad the
Third
refs
quarter.
let him roll.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
So you start the game and it starts raining. And
But you can see clearly that the rain is gone.
I can see clearly now. The rain on the floor.
No, we knew it, and I had my little plastic shield for the camera, so we're good.
So you start the game off with a 4-yard pass to Mekhi Ellis for a 4-yard loss. You complete one to Caleb for 12. You've got 3rd and 2. Mekhi gets nothing, so you have 4th down. Brady Lamb goes back to punt.
Yeah.
The snap goes right through his hands. He fumbles it.
Goes off the sidelines, and at the behest of somebody, took his gloves.
Gloves are coming off, yeah. So Prosper takes over at the 12-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you, let me make one comment about the run. That's one of the things Prosper was doing really well
The run.
against us last night. Either the quarterback, rushing the quarterback.
Option.
They were doing corner blitzes, and you didn't know if it was coming off the corners, which those were the most effective, and that's when they would get in the backfield immediately and just take the running back or the quarterback down. That was tough, and if you don't have a running back that is blocking for you and can stab that off, or a tight end, it's going to be tough. But they never knew where it was coming from. So good job, Prosper.
Which is the same defense that Geyer ran the week before. The difference yesterday to me was we were able to block the interior.
Yes.
For the most, you didn't have the interior in your backfield.
Right. And if you're going to have a pulling lineman go across to make that block, it's got to happen quicker than what it is happening.
Yeah. So Prosper takes over at the 12-yard line. They run one play, quarterback draw for 3, and then they score on the next play on a 9-yard run, makes it 7-0. And you're just like, a turnover's already killed you. Just one small play has turned into 7 points.
Right. And it's all about the pot.
Yeah.
Can you get points after a turnover?
Yeah. And they did.
Yeah. And we kind of squandered some of our turnovers. We had some good ones.
Yes.
What was it? Camden Clark had
Yes.
a good night.
Hang on.
That's all I'm saying.
Next series, they kick off for a touchback. I don't know. 1st and 10, we have an incomplete pass. On 2nd and 10, right up the gut, Mekhi Ellis goes 75 yards. And again, you realize how fast that kid is in the open field because he outran everybody.
Yep.
And again, it's always interesting to me when they go right up the gut because you've got the whole defense converging to the center of the field.
Yeah.
Couldn't catch you. So 75 yards for a touchdown, extra points good. You're tied at 7, and you're feeling a whole lot better about life.
Yeah.
Okay, what can we do here? You kick back off to Prosper. They go 8 plays, 70 yards. Again, you have a couple 3rd downs in that drive that you wish you could stop, and then on 2nd and 11 at the Eagle 49, I don't know if you had a busted coverage or what, but you had Camden Clark, the safety on their receiver, little push off as the pass was coming in. He used his right arm.
Incidental contact.
Whatever. And he pushes off, catches the ball, and now it's 14-7. And you're like, oh, really? And again, how do you respond? You go back and you go, man, this is Geyer all over again, a long touchdown pass. And again, that secondary is still young, but it's 9 games into the year. Here we go. You get the ball back to 25. You go 25 yards on 1st down to Messiah. You have an incomplete pass. You go to 2 yards from Messiah. And then you go 48 yards on 3rd and 8 to Messiah for a touchdown. Which was a really good catch by Moose on that one. And then they go for a 2-point conversion. We're like, what are you doing? We always say, what are you doing? And then it works.
It was almost like a touchdown plunge and a chop block all at once.
Yeah. And so you're tied at 14. I guess you actually missed the extra point was blocked on that first touchdown.
Yeah. So it was 6-7.
So you're tied at 14. And then you kick off, and now your defense starts to show up. Okay?
Big time.
They go 9 plays and only get 20 yards. They have to punt. It's when they punted down to our 1-inch line, and there was a penalty, which was funny.
Half-inch line.
They get down to the half-inch line.
Yeah.
But
and then the announcer actually called it, it's now at the half-inch line.
Yeah. And so but on the first play, Amir McDowell runs for 24 yards, and you're out of that hole, because
you
you're
can
just
breathe.
praying, please nothing bad happen,
Well, because you think, okay, it's going to be half a yard. Don't get taken down in the end zone.
Yeah.
And maybe they brought one of those corner blitzes. I haven't looked, but
you end up getting get the ball back. They go 0 yards and then 2 incomplete passes. So your defense has made stops back to back.
yeah. Let's talk about the defense here real quick.
Okay.
Defensive players of the game. I got 3.
All right.
I mean, Camden Clark is one because of the interceptions, and Zena Umeozulu. Yeah, Umeozulu.
boy.
I thought we were going to watch the, what's the Shaka Zulu or whatever.
Another thing about announcing, and I know Ian does this because
Don't they have pronunciation?
They do have
guides?
pronunciation sheets, and I've seen him at basketball games. When he gets it, if he doesn't understand it, he will go to the opposing coach
And ask them.
and ask. I've seen him do it, and I know he does it, and I don't know if they do it in football or not, but you would think they would do that.
So what you're saying is he's making it about the kids and not his pronunciation.
And so I don't know if the guy just didn't have a pronunciation sheet or what, but
Yeah.
poor Zena. Just call him Z and move on.
And then who else?
Makai Ellis is Micah Ellis, and that's a hard one.
Well, yeah.
You wouldn't
Because it does
necessarily
look like
know.
Micah. But and then the other one, JJ. Boom,
Josh
boom,
Johnson?
Boom Boom Johnson. Yeah.
Had a really good game.
He was. We were hearing his name a lot, and we like that. We like it when other kids step up and get a chance to really perform.
Number 45.
Well, and they were doubled team and tank a lot, so
Which they should. And
they should.
One time he had a really good play later in the game too.
Yeah.
So the defense actually is stepping up here in the second quarter. Prosper goes 0 yards. They punt. Allen gets the ball at their 21. They go 9 plays, and this is what I noticed coming halftime. Allen would get the ball, and they'd get to midfield or slightly in Prosper territory, and then the drive stalled. It's like there was a wall up there at the 45-yard line.
Yeah. Too far to kick a field goal.
Yep.
Do you want to punt? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's going to influence coaches' feelings about. Do you feeling lucky, coach? Are the stats with you?
Allen ends up punting down. Actually went in the end zone. That ball just rolled and rolled and rolled and nobody could catch up to it.
Well, I think it caught. One person stopped before it got to it for some reason.
Thought it was already done.
Yeah.
and you got to keep going.
Yeah.
So Prosper takes over at their 20. They go. They rush for 4, take a 6-yard loss. Or actually, they rush for 0, rush for 4, take a 6-yard sack, and they end up having to punt. Now we get the ball at our 47, so the field is flipped.
Yeah.
Still
Finally,
6,
some good field position.
and we go. we get a 10-yard penalty, first down. Rush for 4, complete a pass for -1, and on 3rd and 7 we get 6 yards. We go for it, 4th and 1, and we lose 2 yards. So they take over.
That's that corner blitz just stops us.
They take over at midfield, and they go the length of the field and score a touchdown on a rollout. Well, actually, I guess the quarterback was flushed, and he's running to the left.
And he ran to the left. We were right up in his face. He was able to turn quick enough, run to the right, and the field was open enough for him to go ahead.
Well, now this is where he ran to the left, and I don't remember who lost containment in the end zone. He threw that duck pass that the guy caught for a touchdown. They missed the extra point, and they're up 20-14. Allen gets the ball back, goes 6 plays, only gets 17 yards, and this was a killer. They go to punt with 30 seconds left in the half, and the punt gets blocked. And that ball bounced right back to the guy that blocked the punt.
Yeah, right up in his hand.
Yeah, and that again, sometimes the football gods just don't bless you.
Yeah.
He took it in. They score. They're up 27-14 at half.
It's a Cinderella story.
So you take out the 2 special teams snafus.
And it could have been tied going into halftime.
Well, you could be 14-14. It should be
Yeah.
something similar to that.
Well, two
maybe they
scores
don't get
down.
that touchdown if they don't get the ball at like the 13-yard line off that first punt.
Well, yeah. And so you're just like, guys. And again, your defense is playing well.
Yep.
Well, and that's why you wanted to hear more of some kind of spark of inspiration at halftime, and the boys saw the light and they came out, and you're 2 touchdown deficit. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
They responded. Okay.
Well, they did respond. Halftime, Prosper gets the ball first. On 3rd and 8, he's intercepted.
Tin bin? Yeah.
This is the one that he threw. Like, I don't know if he was trying to throw it away, but he threw it 50 yards downfield.
It was a high.
And Kai Wheaton intercepts it. Does his best receiver imitation. Catches it.
The wind was blowing pretty strong there. I think it just got away from it.
He overthrew everybody. It wasn't even close. Kai was the only guy that had an opportunity to get it. Recharged at 3 yards. Allen goes, 67 yards in 9 plays. Including a 34-yard pass to Donnell. Again, they had a connection yesterday. It was really good. On 4th and 12, at the 28-yard line, it's another, thank goodness, 17-yard pass to Donnell for a first down on a slant. Mackay rushes 9 yards to the 2, and then he rushes 2 yards for the touchdown. And Allen, now is down 27-21. Prosper gets the ball back. They go, again, they can't do anything. I just love looking at these stats. They rush for 3 yards, they lose a yard, and then the quarterback sacked for 9. They punt. Allen takes over at the 47. They go 53 yards in 6 plays. Brady completes a pass to Caleb Smith for 3 yards to the touchdown. And all of a sudden you're winning 28-27. And this is all in the third quarter. You're just like, man, what has happened here?
Change of fortune, they're stepping up.
Starting to rain.
Yeah,
Y'all can hear that.
No, they can't hear the rain.
100% chance of rain.
Prosper gets the ball back. They go 9 plays, 78 yards. They have a 35-yard pass in the middle of all that, and they kick a field goal to take the lead. Get to the fourth quarter. Allen gets the ball back. They go 11 plays, 75 yards. You got a 20-yard pass to Caleb. A couple more passes to Donnell. Mackay Ellis, has 2 hard runs. He gets a first down with an 11-yard run. He runs 8 yards on the second play, and then he needs a break. McDowell goes in and from the 12-yard line.
Punches.
Yep. He runs so stinking hard, and just
it's beautiful to watch.
Punches it in.
If you can't see the beauty in the positive plays here, you're not looking.
What's his height? 5'5", 5'6"?
Well, Mackay's 5'5" or 5'6". I think McDowell's a little taller.
A little bit.
Okay.
Well,
like 5'7", 5'8".
So let's see what they list him at. They list McDowell at 5'8", 190.
There you go.
Well, he's got 4 guys on him, and he's leaning forward and pushing with his feet, and pushes them another 3 or 4 yards. I mean, really? That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, backs are tough.
It's next level energy right there.
Yep, it is.
We've got a 2-yard or a 2-point conversion, which is good. It's the second one in the game, and so Allen is up 36-30. You're like, fantastic.
Yeah, and some people were saying, why go for 2 points? It's not going to help you.
Yeah, like us.
Yeah, I know, and I'm trying to think.
There was a method to the madness.
It didn't necessarily matter, but so they make it.
But one day you're going to have that.
Yes.
And the more you practice it, I mean,
I think personally, when you look at it, it was 30 to 27. kick an extra point, it's 34-30. If they score a touchdown, you need a field goal to tie. But if you get the 2-point conversion, a field goal wins it.
Right.
I don't know if they were thinking that far ahead, but after having time to think about it, again, they get paid to do it, and I don't.
Yep.
Prosper gets the ball back, and an interception. Camden Clark picks off this, fights off the receiver.
Yeah.
Intercepts it. 9:49 left in the game. We're going to talk here for a minute because.
Well, what do? I mean, you've got the 25-second clock. You've got a heck of a running game.
You know what you do.
Pass.
Yeah.
Twice.
Well, you had to pass twice because you came out on first down. And again, your running game, again, there was a good blend. They had a good mix last night.
Oh, yeah.
And so they obviously saw something on film because they threw the ball a lot more than I thought they would.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I went back and looked, and Prosper had given up 150 yards a game on the ground. This wasn't the same Prosper defense we've seen over the years. Mm-hmm. So my thought was they can pound the ball here. Mm-hmm. You got 9 minutes left. You got a 6-point lead. Any points you get here might win you the game.
Mm-hmm.
And in hindsight, it would have.
It would have, yeah.
You could burn, like you turned to me and said, I'd love a 6-minute drive and points.
Yeah,
I said,
exactly.
Yeah. That'd be
I was
great.
thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
So you're having your way with them.
Yeah.
You're having your way with the line by running the ball, and they are just running people in and out to take people's places on the line. I mean, like crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
It was kind of like the McKinney game where you can see them.
they're
Started to
dying.
wear him down.
So they come out on first down, they throw an incomplete pass. So, you know, I don't know how many seconds went off the clock there. Second down, they lose 3 yards running. And so you're faced with 3rd and 13, and you throw an incomplete pass.
It's a passing down.
And they get the ball back. You only burned 1 minute and 2 seconds off the clock. And they get the ball back, and they go 13. You know, give them credit. They went 13 plays, 80 yards, including converting a second 25.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that was a kill in their own end. You know, you're
right.
like, oh, guys.
Well, and that's the holes. That's the holes in the zone coverage, and sometimes the kids play it really well, and sometimes they kind of keep the zone and watch the open kid catch the ball and
And
tackle
that's
him.
that's a learning experience. They'll remember that next time that comes around. They'll get better.
Yeah.
So, again, give Prosper credit. They went 13-8, 13 plays, 80 yards, and they convert on a fourth. They had a 4th down play at our 25-yard line, and they ran the option, and the kid gets the corner.
Everybody thought it was going one way, it went the
Yeah.
other way, and boom.
And they get down to the 3. The quarterback rushes it in. It's 36-30 or 37-36.
That was an elite read.
Yeah, it
Two
was.
guys were tackling the halfback there, and he kept it. Ooh.
Well, and to be honest, the quarterback was kind of gimpy, their quarterback.
Yeah.
And but for him to suck it up and run as well as he did in the second half was
All they needed was
gutsy
one more
performance.
good hit on him, and he was done.
Yeah.
So Allen takes over with 1:28 remaining at their own 32-yard line. First play, Brady rushes for 9. Mackay goes for 2 to get a first down. On first down, completes the pass to Caleb for 2 yards. Second down, they get 4 yards from Mackay. On third down, they get nothing. And on 4th and 4th, they're 49. An incomplete pass, and Prosper takes over. Prosper goes nowhere. 7th plays 3 yards, and Allen gets the ball back with 1:05 left in the game after a 12-yard punt. That was the strangest. He kicked it directly out of bounds, which I get. He didn't want, but he only went 12 yards. But Allen can do nothing at that point. They get 1 first down and are unable to do anything. And the ball game's over. They have a penalty, a false start penalty, which is an automatic 10-second runoff to end the
And
game.
you got 9 seconds on the clock. Yeah, the game's over.
Game's over. Allen loses 37-36, drops to 5-4 in the year, 4-2 in district. They do have a playoff game. Here's the scenario for people that are listening that care. District 6-6A. Hebron and Plano East are tied at 3-3 in district with 1 game left each. Hebron has beaten Plano East.
So they've got the tiebreaker.
They got the tiebreaker. Plano East plays at home against Flower Mound Marcus, who is 4-5. Plano East is 5-4. And Hebron plays Louisville.
Louisville's a little bit of a juggernaut in
I think Louisville
conference.
will beat Hebron, but Plano East has to beat Flower Mound Marcus in order to make the playoffs, because they lose the tiebreaker. If they both lose, then Hebron gets in. If Hebron gets in, Flower Mound Marcus and Hebron are the D2 schools, and Coppell and Louisville are the D1 schools, which means you would play an undefeated Coppell.
At Coppell.
At Coppell.
At Coppell.
If Plano East gets in, Louisville is the number 1 D1 seed, and Plano East will be the number 2 seed. You would play at Louisville. So that's the scenario. No matter what happens in the Allen
Well, we
game.
lost last year.
Yeah. Louisville isn't the team they were last year. They're
No.
still pretty good. They lost to Highland Park of all teams earlier in the year, and they lost to Coppell. They've got a couple losses there, but they're still good. But in my mind, you'd rather avoid Coppell if you could.
Sure.
Why play an undefeated team that's really good?
But if you want to go deep, you're going to have to face the good teams like a Coppell. And what year was it? We ended up going down to Waco ISD Stadium, and the game before us was Plano West versus Lufkin. It was like the 4th round of the playoffs. And Plano
Lufkin's-
West beat Lufkin, and Lufkin was just, oh my God, this was the year.
Yeah, it was the trashiest I've ever seen a stadium.
And Plano was like the fourth team in the district, or Plano West was. So
yeah, you never know what can happen, and that's the scenario for the playoffs in 2 weeks. This game this week doesn't mean anything as it relates to the playoff. You'd rather be 6-4 than 5-5, obviously. And you should beat this little Elm team.
So you're saying there's a chance?
And I went back and looked at the region. I told you guys this yesterday. There's not a team in there, maybe outside of North Crowley. If Coppell goes D2, there's not a team in there you look at and say you can't
in the
compete
D1
with.
side. Yeah.
In Region 1, there's really not that you can't compete with. So, like Coach said, you want another chance at Prosper in the 4th round.
You're going to have to play well enough to get it.
It's there for the taking.
Yeah.
And so,
assuming Prosper doesn't lay an egg.
well, yeah. And again, that Prosper team to me isn't near the team that the last couple of years has been.
Yeah,
They
and like
didn't
Coach
seem-
also said, McKinney has the most talent on the field
Yep. So
from a D1 classification.
it's a tough loss. It's tough
It
to
is.
swallow. It's been a long time since we've had a 4-loss season, and
But-
I could go back and look, but I'm not gonna because I don't care.
but
I'll be 71.
get used to it. Support the kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, and for all you people who have been coming up, listeners who've been coming up and talking to us, we had some come up
are
yesterday.
we over 10 now? We're in double digits.
We're in double
Oh,
digits,
my God.
brother. It's nice to hear from you.
Yeah, it is.
We love the feedback, and we love discussing things we say, things you see, because and this is one of the reasons we started this podcast, because at that point there were 6 of us, and we all saw things differently.
Yeah.
And Thad would see, because Thad focuses on the lines.
Yeah.
He sees all that, and we all look at things
He's a
differently.
line and
we
X's
love
and O's
discussing
guy,
it
yeah.
because we're passionate about that. So that keep coming up to us. Anything you want to talk about, we'd love to talk, and it's great. And by the way, where'd my phone go? Y'all ban it
What
for
phone?
a second.
What phone? Well, yeah, so let's talk about Allen is a basketball school and a swimming school and a tennis school. Well, basketball is about to kick off. So we've got the tip-off classic, or the tip-off Saturday,
Yep.
this next Saturday, and it's from
No,
2 to
11. Oh, this is today.
today is
Yeah.
tip-off?
Fan Jam.
Fan Jam.
Yeah.
So come out, meet the team. We got a ton of tall players. Clark Cipolletta is the coach. He's dynamic. Even though he would never stoop so low as to recruit, somehow we've got a bunch of really fine players.
You did not.
No, because he's a high character kind of guy. We count on him for that,
Oh, my Lord.
He's a spark plug. We'll call him Sparky. That's my nickname for Coach Sip.
Sip.
Hey, it's going to be a fun year. Dude, come
James
on.
Adams.
Let's go. Let's have a dunk contest. You and me, Coach. I'll be lucky to even touch the rim.
You'd be lucky to get off the ground.
We'll have to use the trampoline. Anyway, tip off. The
Fan
Yeah.
jams
Fan
today,
jam.
2 to 4. Bring some canned food. That's your entrance fee.
Canned food.
Yep.
For the
and
community.
it's called Jam the Van. They're going to have a van out
Okay,
there.
jam the van.
Jam the van,
Awesome.
fill it with food.
2 to 4 today. Yeah. Well, this will be after the fact by the time you hear this.
Yeah, it
but,
will be. So hopefully
That's
you
right.
came. I'll put something out on the Facebook
Yeah.
page here in a minute about it. So anyhow, next week, Little Elm, 7 o'clock, Thursday night. Remember that, people. Thursday
Yep.
night. Senior night.
I won't be there. Sad face.
Uh-oh. So we're down to no video highlights next week, people. So
Maybe you can talk to Matt Welch and steal his video.
we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
So again, Allen takes it on the chin. Next week, Little Elm will get a victory. Look forward going to the playoffs with a little momentum. So
Yep. A little momentum and a clean game. You know, we're hoping for a clean game and everybody plays well.
Heard it's going to be the refs from 2 weeks ago.
if Lee ever agrees to have those
No,
people
he-
on, we're firing him. That's it. We are firing him. All right, folks, enjoyed it. Y'all stay dry. Be safe out there. It's raining quite a bit. A lot of water on the road, so be careful out there. And so until next week, it's over, and we are out. Peace.